What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a very exciting Liverpool transfer news video. And in this video we will talk about Yves Bissouma because Spanish newspapers are reporting that Liverpool have reached an agreement for Brighton's star midfielder, and considering Liverpool have an injury crisis developing in midfield, it makes perfect sense for Liverpool to bring in Yves Bissouma in the January transfer window. We have Harvey Elliott out for potentially 6 months or even the full season. We have Naby Keita out at the moment, we have Thiago out, so that's 3 potentially starting midfielders for Liverpool out for a long period of time. And even Thiago was seen on crutches when his wife posted a picture on her Instagram, and Thiago was holding crutches in his right hand, and that's very concerning, but we will talk a little bit more about that later, and also many other Liverpool related news, and also a brand new FIFA 22 Liverpool Carry Mode episode is dropping later today. So if you are excited about that, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, so you never miss the latest Liverpool transfer news update. And I want to say a huge thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring my channel for this month. OneFootball is the home of football, my favorite app. I've been using it for years. You can find all kinds of football news on there, and also you can find the stats, the latest transfer news. I have been going there almost every day checking the Liverpool transfer news because they combine the best and most interesting transfer news and football news. And you can find also interesting videos, stats, analysis, fantasy football tips, and all kinds of interesting football related content on the OneFootball apps, and it's completely free. So what are you waiting for? Make sure to download OneFootball using the link in the video's description, and you support the channel as well that way. And the Liverpool Echo also reported from the transfer news from a Spanish news outlet called Fixture. Liverpool have reached an agreement for Brighton midfielder Yves Bissouma. Liverpool were pretty inactive in the transfer window, only signing Ibrahim Konate, but I think we were only waiting for the right player to become available. Liverpool have a few transfer targets that they are monitoring, and if those players are not available, then Liverpool are just not signing anyone. And that's the policy of Jurgen Klopp, that's the policy of Liverpool FC, and let me know if you agree or disagree with that policy in the comments below. I personally think that Liverpool should have signed an attacker, somebody like Jeremy Doku, who would have beefed up the attacking numbers. But also in midfield we have a lot of players, we had a lot of players at the start of the season, but my main concern was Wijnaldum played like 50 games, you know, almost every season at Liverpool for the past 5 years. He was very reliable, almost never got injured, and we of course let him go. So now we are left with midfielders who were quite injury prone. Yes, we boosted the midfield with keeping Harvey Elliott instead of loaning him out again, but because Harvey Elliott suffered a brutal injury which could end his season, hopefully he will be back before the season ends, but he will be out for at least 5 months or maybe even more. And Naby Keita and Thiago and Oxlade-Chamberlain are all injury prone players, and it's so incredibly frustrating because they are all world-class midfielders on their day when they are in form, when they are playing regularly. But both Keita and Thiago picked up these niggling injuries, and Liverpool can use help from a new signing because these are all injury-prone players. And Yves Bissouma is a very reliable player. He almost never gets injured, and this talented midfielder could provide a lot of cover and a lot of games for Liverpool in midfield. And he would cost around £30 million according to many news outlets, and it could be a great long-term investment for Liverpool because he's only 25 years old, so he's just about hitting his prime, and he's a brilliant box-to-box midfielder. He's not a goal-scoring midfielder, but he's not an out-and-out defensive midfielder either. He can do a lot of different roles, and he has a great engine on him. He can run for days, and also he's a very class player who can pass the ball pretty nice, and he can score some long shots as well. And he became a very integral part of Brighton's midfield in the last couple of seasons. He helped build a brilliant and resolute link between the defense and the forward line at Brighton, and Brighton could go actually top of the Premier League if they beat Crystal Palace away from home tonight, which shows that Brighton are starting the season on fire, and I don't think they would happily let Yves Bissouma go. But I think Bissouma always said that he has his ambition on playing for a big club like Liverpool, playing in the Champions League, competing for titles and trophies. And Brighton, of course, know that they are just a stepping stone for players like Bissouma. He already made 91 Premier League games, Premier League appearances. He scored 2 goals and got 1 assist. So his output, of course, is not great when it comes to attacking numbers, but defensively he is brilliant. And now that Henderson is like 31, 32 years old, he could use some rotation. So I think that Liverpool need to sign Bissouma, and it's very promising that Spanish newspapers are reporting that we already have an agreement with Brighton for the transfer of Bissouma in the January transfer window, but I still would wait until journalists in and around Liverpool confirm this deal as done and dusted. But the Spanish newspaper is reporting that Liverpool have already closed a deal to sign Bissouma in the January transfer window, and his stats are quite brilliant. He averages 2.9 tackles per 90 minutes, 1.8 interceptions, 1.8 clearances, 1.2 shots, and 1.5 dribbles per 90 minutes in the Premier League. And he was even excellent with his ball distribution, with making 87.4% of his attempted passes in the Premier League. And Bissouma is maturing into a top talent under the tutelage of Potter, so Liverpool would do well to engineer a move to bring Bissouma to Anfield in the January transfer window. And Bissouma is a very tough tackling centre midfielder who is usually quick to sense the danger, and he can time his challenges well to earn the ball back for his team, and he can cover a lot of ground inside his half. He doesn't mind putting his foot through the ball when required. And of course we already have the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League in Fabinho. As I said, Henderson's legs will start slowing down a little bit probably in the next couple of years, and Liverpool need a similar midfielder to Wijnaldum who can run for days and who has a great engine in him. Bissouma would be a great fit for Liverpool as he ticks all the right boxes in terms of what Jurgen Klopp demands from his midfielders, and he could even go on to form an excellent midfield partnership with Fabinho, which will free up the Liverpool players to play basically 4 strikers or 4 attackers. We could play a 4-2-3-1 formation with Bissouma and Fabinho sitting ahead of the back 4, and Liverpool could play Firmino, Mane, Salah and Jota up front and really just unleash them on the opposition. Imagine that front row and how much havoc it could cause to opposition defenses. And because, as I said, Thiago seems to pick up these injuries, of course it's not a big concern right now. He should be back in a few weeks, but it was very concerning that when his wife posted a picture on Instagram, some eagle-eyed Liverpool fans spotted that Thiago was holding crutches in his right hand, or maybe in both hands. Of course it could be just precaution because they were walking a lot that day at the zoo with their children. By the way, Thiago has a beautiful family, so congratulations to him. I'm so happy for him, and maybe he's just doing his best to protect himself, but it doesn't look good. And if Thiago is out for more than a couple of weeks, Liverpool have a problem because Naby Keita is also out, and now Liverpool's midfield will get stretched with Harvey Elliott already out for 5 months, and Liverpool could have even more problems mounting because Jurgen Klopp is very concerned with the upcoming international break, because Brazil again has 3 games scheduled, and the last game is at 1:30 a.m. UK time on Friday, October the 15th, with Liverpool back in action next day in a 12:30 kickoff. So the Premier League is an absolute disgrace, not basically taking into consideration that the players who play in South America at international football level have to come back traveling back to the Premier League. And why not put teams who have South American players, a lot of them in their team, why not put their fixtures on Sunday or Monday just to give them a little bit breathing space? This is what Jurgen Klopp said There must be a solution, because we cannot just leave it like it is and say it's not a problem. Yes, it is a problem. I'm pretty sure the decisive people are working on it. In fact, I know they are, but there is nothing decided yet as far as I'm concerned. I expect my players to go to the South America qualifiers. Obviously, nobody thought about the scheduling yet, and it's a Liverpool problem, not a problem for anybody else. Good for Watford and all these kind of things, but I just don't know how you can do these things and nobody reacts on schedule. On the schedule is always a problem, but it's like the TV guys in the Premier League just say, okay, that's how it is, Liverpool have to play, and let's have a look at how we can sort that. It's another thing that's good for the players and not good for the club. It's another thing that's not good for the players and not good for the clubs as well. I hope on top of that the government comes up with a solution, and it's a really big concern, because if Liverpool can't play their Brazilian players for the next Premier League game, that includes Fabinho and Firmino and Alisson, we could lose 3 of their best players, and as I said, we already are short in midfield. So if Fabinho is not allowed to play because of this nonsense rules, then or even the nonsense scheduling, then Liverpool will be very short in midfield. So FIFA, the UK government, the Premier League need to sit down and sort out this mess, because it's getting more and more annoying. Also, Liverpool FC has existed for 129 years, and no Liverpool player has ever gotten to 100 top flight goals quicker than Mohamed Salah. What an absolute bona fide Liverpool legend he is already, and he's not stopping. He will probably get 150 goals, and if he stays for Liverpool for the next 5 or 6 years, he could even get more. So not Steven Gerrard, not Fernando Torres, not Luis Suarez, not Robbie Fowler, not Roche, the greatest goal scorer of Liverpool. No, it's Mo Salah, the Egyptian king. And that's legendary stuff, honestly. And Mo Salah is even above Thierry Henry. So Mo Salah got quicker to 100 Premier League goals than Thierry Henry, and Thierry Henry is one of the best ever Premier League strikers. So that is absolutely incredible. And what is also incredible is that Peter Crouch has claimed that Mo Salah is still underappreciated by some Liverpool fans. He said Liverpool striker or winger Salah was also quicker than all-time legends Roger Hunt and Jack Parkinson to 100 top-flight goals for Liverpool. Salah is a phenomenon, with Thierry Henry and Sergio Aguero the only foreign imports to have reached the landmark in fewer games. Yet there is still that feeling of underappreciation, and I cannot put my finger on why. Maybe it is because the eye-popping numbers he produces every season have become the norm. Compare him to Fernando Torres and Luis Suarez for a moment. They are almost held in higher esteem, and they are deemed more special by supporters, but he has a record that eclipses them easily. But you know, sometimes players' relationship with fans, in terms of how much fans like a player, is based on feeling and emotion, and because Salah is not a flashy player like Luis Suarez was full of tricks, and Fernando Torres was full of tricks and personality. And I'm not saying that Salah doesn't have tricks or personality. He has those in abundance, but maybe not as many as Suarez, or maybe not as much personality as Torres. And also because he's Egyptian and he's not a classic like European or South American player, but he's from Africa. Maybe some fans have had the difficulty to warm to him, and yes, that could be racist. Some Liverpool fans might just be not appreciating an African player doing it for Liverpool, but I think Salah is above them. I think Salah is better than Torres, Suarez, and I watched both of them. I fell in love with Liverpool even before Fernando Torres came to the club, so I lived through all those moments, and I loved Fernando Torres more than you can imagine, guys. He broke my heart when he went to Chelsea, let me tell you like that. But I love Mohamed Salah even more, because Salah is so special. And just the fact that he almost scores in every game is absolutely mind-blowing. And it's absolutely exceptional. Even Jurgen Klopp said that I think 2 weeks ago he scored 100 in the league. Now it's 100 for Liverpool. We give him already the shirt with the 100 on the back. Maybe we now have to give him another one. I love Jurgen Klopp's sense of humor. He is absolutely brilliant, man. exceptional, Jurgen Klopp continued. We all know that. In the future, when people look back, people will speak about some players of this team 100%, and we'll speak 100% as well about Mo Salah, because the numbers he had are insane, incredible. I know Mo Salah, he's now sitting in the dressing room thinking about the 2 chances he didn't score. He will probably be the quickest player to score 150 goals too. It's an outstanding achievement, no doubt. And also Jurgen Klopp considered that Brentford deserved the point. It was a wild ride. They deserved their 3 goals for the way they played. We obviously couldn't deal with the long balls today. But we should have scored more goals. I don't think you can control them much better. We created a lot of clear-cut chances but couldn't deal with them defensively. These things happen. We should have scored more. If we win 3-2 or 4-3, we still have these struggles defensively. Tony and Mbeumo did really well. They deserve the point as well because they put up a proper fight. I respect that a lot. In the end, there were situations we should do better, and then it could be a completely different game. Their goalie should have number 10 on his shirt with the balls that he played. That's brilliant. That just means that their goalkeeper was so good with his feet. He was playing balls to the midfielders and the strikers, and he was like orchestrating some attacks. But let's keep it in perspective, even though Liverpool dropped points, and it was a big opportunity missed, considering that both Manchester United and Chelsea lost during the weekend. Liverpool couldn't take full advantage, but Liverpool are still top of the Premier League, and even if we get a draw against Man City, we will stay ahead of Man City. But I think Liverpool can beat Manchester City at Anfield, but it's going to be one hell of a game, and Liverpool's defense have to improve, that's for sure. I think Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp will ring changes and bring a little bit of rotation against Porto. I expect maybe Henderson to sit out of the game, and I expect Oxlade-Chamberlain to come in. Maybe James Milner will come in as well. I also think Kostas Tsimikas should start against Porto, and just give Robertson a breather because he didn't look his usual self against Brentford. I also expect Joe Gomez and maybe Konate to start as well against Porto. I think Liverpool should rotate their centre backs, but let me know what they think about that in the comments below, and thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.